everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're talking about new releases for the end of 2025. So we are getting into the last 3 months of 2025 and we still have new releases coming out. Not as many as earlier in the year, but I still have 24 titles that I'm very excited about that I want to talk to you about today. I will say I don't know all the summaries off the top of my head, so we're probably going to be reading them, but I guess without further ado, we should jump right on in. So we're going to be starting in October, obviously. This is a video for October, November, December, and there are 4 books coming out on October 7th. The first one is Druid Cursed by C.J. Burright. 1 Week of Freedom, One Cursed Druid. One woman who could break the spell or doom them both. Every 50 years, Kellen Ravenwood escapes his magical prison for 7 days. This Samhain is his last chance to break the curse, or he'll be bound forever. All he needs is a sacrifice, the blood of Maggie O'Malley, the last living descendant of the witch who cursed him. Maggie, desperate for cash after a brutal divorce, jumps at the chance to win a $500,000 prize at a mysterious Irish estate. She never expected ancient rituals, strange magic, or Kellen, the dangerously charming man who claims she's the key to his freedom. But Maggie won't be anyone's sacrifice, and if there's another way to break the curse, she'll find it. Because some destinies are meant to be written, and some love stories are worth defying fate for. This definitely seems like a fantasy romance. I love the cover, and I'm very, very excited. The next one we have here is The Ordeals by Rachel Greenlaw. Another romantasy is what it says here. 20-year-old Sophia de Winter has only known life bound to her cruel uncle, the Collector, thanks to a blood bond he exacted from her as a child. When she learns of Kilmarth College, an elite academy for magic wielders outside of the Collector's control, she knows it is her only chance to finally break free. But to gain entry, she will have to compete against other illusionists, maskiers, maybe, botanists, and alchemists in a series of brutal trials that many hopefuls don't survive. The Ordeals. Sophia knows her skills as an illusionist are weak. She only makes it through the first challenge by teaming up with a powerful and insufferably sexy botanist, Alden Locke. To make it out alive, she will have to hone her magic and learn to identify who is a rival, who could be an ally, and who is a murderer, because now not only does she have to protect her heart, but her very life. Hopefuls are being viciously picked off one by one between the challenges. In her haste to escape the Collector's trap, Sophia may have fled straight toward her own death sentence. Please excuse Elliot coloring in the background. To me, it seems really loud. I don't know if it's loud to you guys, but I absolutely love deadly magical trial things, and so I need this one. Then we also have Moan by Junji Ito. This is going to be another short story collection by this author. I'm very, very excited because these are like weird, creepy horror manga. And this one says, obsession and persistence warp reality in this collection of macabre stories set in Junji Ito's blood-curdling world. A dark evil lurks in the unreachable depths of a pipe, groaning out moans that echo through the house of a germaphobe mother and her daughters. In another tale, flowers blooming in the shape of eyeballs are only the beginning of the strange phenomena surrounding a mysterious transfer student. Could he have supernatural abilities? Also, a man in a village deep in the mountains shares memories of his wife. What happened to her after she said she would give freely of her blood? And the last one on this date is And the River Drags Her Down by Ji Hyun Yoon. She has always known the rules. Never resurrect anything larger than the palm of her hand. But that was before her sister died. A chilling, compulsive exploration of sisterhood, loss, and revenge. When her older sister is found mysteriously drowned in the river that cuts through their small coastal town, Sujin Han disregards every rule and uses her ancestral magic to bring Mireille back from the dead. At first, the sisters are overjoyed, reveling in late-night escapades and the miracle of being together again. But Mireille grows tired of hiding from the world. She becomes restless and hungry. Driven by an insatiable desire to finish what she started in life, to unravel the truth that crushed her family so many years ago, Mireille is out for revenge. When their town is engulfed by increasingly destructive rain and a series of harrowing, unusual deaths, Sujin is forced to reckon with the fact that perhaps the sister she brought back isn't the one she knew. Okay, also moving down to October 14th, there are 4 more titles releasing on this date. The first is Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. This is a book that I'm pretty sure started as an indie self-published book and is now being picked up for a traditionally published release. Ripped from a forgotten homeland as a child, Tizana learned how to survive with nothing but a sharp wit and a touch of magic. But the night she tries to buy her freedom, she barely escapes with her life. Desperate to save the best friend she left behind, Tisana journeys to the Orders, the most powerful organizations of magic wielders in the world. To join their ranks, she must complete an apprenticeship with Maxentarius Farleone, a handsome and reclusive fire wielder who despises the Orders. The Order's intentions are cryptic, and Tisana must prove herself under the threat of looming war. But even more dangerous are her growing feelings for Maxentarius. The bloody past he wants to forget may be the key to her future, or the downfall of them both. Tisana will stop at nothing to save those she abandoned, even if it means gambling in the Order's deadly games, even if it means sacrificing her heart, even if it means wielding death itself. Again, it sounds like Deadly Trials, a magical world. Like, I definitely want to try this one out. We also have Dead and Breakfast by Kat Hillis and Rosie Thor. The new vampires in town are sinking their teeth into solving a murder. Married odd couple Arthur and Sal are totally normal. They wear sunscreen, not because the sun can kill them, but because even the undead need a skincare regimen. They eat garlic whenever they want, though it gives Sal indigestion. They can talk to creatures of the night, but only the raccoons that rifle through their garbage. Really, they don't bite, except into delicious baked goods. Ready to settle down and stay out of trouble, the two have opened a bed and breakfast in the idyllic, if not so paranormal-friendly, town of Trident Falls, Oregon. But trouble finds them when the mayor is discovered dead in their begonias with 2 puncture wounds in his neck. With the help of a werewolf barista, the elven town coroner, and a very human city manager, Arthur and Sal will need to prove they aren't literally out for blood by catching a killer. This definitely seems like cozy mystery, fantasy, paranormal wrapped up into one. It is also going to be LGBTQ. I definitely am very excited for this one. Then we also have The Princess Knight by Kate Jacobs. This was originally titled Medievally Blonde, which I was obsessed with, but from my understanding, that was when it was going to be a little bit more like a Legally Blonde retelling. And now I guess it's more like a twist on The Princess Bride, so The Princess Knight. Domhnall and Clea are an ideal match, or so everyone says. They are prince and princess of neighboring kingdoms, an alliance the gods will smile on, until Domhnall ruins everything by refusing to propose. Heartbroken but determined, Clea makes the perfect plan. Follow Domhnall to Caislean Costa. I'm pretty sure this has Gaelic in it, and I'm going to be so bad at pronouncing these, I'm so sorry. The military academy he's attending. Shows she can protect her kingdom, secure the betrothal. Sure, the castle has a brutal reputation, but how hard can dueling really be? Warrior Ronan promised himself he'd never lose his focus. He fought and sacrificed for his place at Caislean Costa, and he has no time for blonde princesses who waltz into arenas like they're attending a ball, even if she and her otter-like pet are, well, cute. He doesn't want to be intrigued by Clea, but her hunger to prove herself is something he understands. He tells himself there's no harm training her, even if his heart does race around her, even if Domhnall is his best friend. But as they say, love is a battlefield, and unfortunately for them all, a very real war is looming on the horizon. It's a fight that will threaten all their kingdoms and test all their hearts. Okay, this still sounds like a take on Legally Blonde, and so I'm still very, very sad it's not called Medievally Blonde anymore, but I do have this on pre-order. I'm very excited. And the last one for this date is Recipes for an Unexpected Afterlife by Destin J. Munden. An undead orc knight leaves battle behind for a new kind of afterlife, one with good food, good friends, and maybe even fatherhood. Rotgor is worn out, literally. Barely held together by dark magic, he has protected the necropolis for centuries. When he's forced into retirement, he's faced with a new way to forge a future guided not by obligation, but by passion. Following his heart and stomach, he decides to open a restaurant where the city's undead and living residents can share food and community. He's helped in his quest by an unlikely assortment of neighbors, including elves, skeletons, vampires, and a young orphan girl named Astra, whose ancestry, if discovered, could put her and the entire necropolis in danger. To protect Astra and the life he's building, Rotgor must face his past and form new alliances built on friendship, loyalty, and love. So this is going to be another like sort of cozy fantasy type of thing. I want to read it. Then we're going to be moving into October 21st. There are 3 titles releasing on this date. The first is The Devil She Knows by Alexandria Bellafleur. Samantha Cooper is having a day from hell. In less than 24 hours, her life has unraveled, leaving her single and with nowhere to live. Adding insult to injury, she's trapped in an elevator with a gorgeous woman claiming to be a demon. Daphne is not at all what Samantha expected from someone claiming to be an evil supernatural entity. She's pretty, witty, dressed in pink, and smells nice. And she's here to offer Samantha a deal she can't refuse. 6 wishes in exchange for 1 tiny trade, Samantha's soul. There's a glaring loophole in their contract, one Samantha fully intends to exploit so she doesn't fork over her soul. After all, she only needs one wish to win her ex back. Hell-bent to gather the last of the 1,000 souls she needs so she can be free of her own devilish deal, Daphne grants each of Samantha's wishes, with a twist, so that Samantha is forced to make another. As Samantha's wishes dwindle and Daphne offers her glimpses into the life she thought she wanted, the unlikely pair grows close. Perhaps the girl of Samantha's dreams is actually the stuff of nightmares, but Samantha and Daphne will have to outsmart the devil himself if they want a chance at happily ever after. This, I don't know if I remembered this, reminds me of Bedazzled, and I am now extra excited about this. Then we also have Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. He's the ghost of Christmas Past. She's not exactly Scrooge. Ghost of Christmas Past Nolan Callahan intends to spend this holiday haunting like every other. Get in, get out, return to his otherwise aimless existence as a ghost awaiting the afterlife. But when he's faced with Harriet York, the sweetest assignment he's ever had, he suddenly finds himself wishing for a future. Harriet York has no idea why she's being haunted. She's a good person, or at least she tries to be. A people pleaser to her core, she always does what's expected of her, but as she and Nolan begin to examine her past, they discover there are threads that bind them together, and realize there might be more to moving on than expected. With the deadline of Christmas Eve fast approaching, will they find the key to their futures in each other's pasts, or will they stay firmly in the present, indulging in their unexpected, spirited connection? And then the last one on this date is The Sinuous Bargain of a Cowardly Prince by Kayleani Shi. This is going to be a romantic fantasy, perfect for fans of the Bridge Kingdom. She was his chance for redemption. He was her key to freedom. Prince Ramiel Founder is a bastard. His entire existence is the second best kept secret in a kingdom built on blurred lines. But when his dragon-slaying brother dies in battle, Ramiel must stand in his place in the kingdom's coronation duel. There's just one problem. Thanks to the king's intimidation, no noble or soldier dares to train him. Ether Malifon is a cutthroat elven warrior. Her hatred for humanity is etched into her soul, second only to her resentment for the fairies who killed her parents. Her world unravels when she's dragged from her village to be sacrificed to a long-dead monarch, but fate intervenes when a certain desperate prince strikes a bargain that might save her life. If he rescues her, she must agree to train him for his duel. As time runs out and enemies close in, Ramiel and Ether must navigate dark curses, buried secrets, and a history determined to repeat itself. But in a kingdom shaped by betrayal, victory may come at the ultimate cost. Okay, moving down to October 28th, there are also 3 titles releasing on this date. The first is Moth Dark by Kika Hatsapolu. The dark has come alive. 6 years ago, vicious creatures began to crawl out of the dark crevices of the world, and with it, Sasia's fascination with the darkness was born. Now 18, that fascination has become an obsession, and while exploring an area known for its connection to the dark world, Sasia sees a person climb out of the darkness. But Nugao is no ordinary person. They're a gender-fluid elf prince with one mission: to kill Sasia. Except, the second time they meet, Nugao is younger and doesn't recognize Sasia, and the third time, Nugao stumbles out of the darkness with poison running through their veins, expressing their undying love for her. Piecing together the puzzle, Sasia makes 2 shocking discoveries. The timeline of her world and Nugao's are not linear, and she is inexplicably enmeshed in a war between humanity and elves. But with their worlds at battle, is it worth fighting for each other? Then we also have Witches of Dubious Origin by Jen McKinley. Zoe Ziatkis enjoys a quiet life working as a librarian in her quaint New England town. When a mysterious black book with an unbreakable latch is delivered to the library, Zoe has a strange feeling the tome is somehow calling to her. She decides to consult the Museum of Literature, home to volumes of indecipherable secrets, some possessing magic that must be guarded. The collection is known as the Books of Dubious Origin. Here, Zoe discovers that she is the last descendant of a family of witches, and this little black book is her grimoire. Zoe knows she must decode the family's spellbook and solve the mystery of what happened to her mother and her grandmother. However, the book's potential power draws all things magical to it, and Zoe finds herself under the constant watch of a pesky raven while being chased by undead Vikings, ghost pirates, and assorted ghouls. With assistance from the eccentric staff of the Books of Dubious Origin, including their annoyingly smart and handsome containment specialist, Jasper Griffin, Zoe must confront her past and the legacy of her family. But as their adventure unfolds, she'll have to decide if she's ready to embrace her destiny. Then we also have Final Cut by Olivia Worley. When recent high school graduate Hazel Lejeune gets the lead role in a slasher film, it feels like a dream come true. This is her chance to break into the industry, build her reel, and prove to her mom that this gap year can turn into a career. So what if it's set in the nothing town of Pine Springs, Louisiana, the same place her father, the Pine Springs slasher, was convicted of a series of murders 15 years ago? But when Hayes arrives on set, she gets much more than she bargained for. The shoot is plagued with suspicious accidents. Mentions of her dad dot the entire script, and then a gruesome murder shocks everyone to the core. Now it's clear there's a real killer on set, one who's determined to finish the film at all costs. But is this merely a copycat, or is the wrong slasher behind bars? As the body count rises and reality blurs with fiction, Hayes must unmask the killer before she becomes a real-life final girl, or before the killer flips the script and makes her its next victim. Okay, now we're going to be moving into November. There is one book releasing on November 4th, which is Thrown for a Loop by Serena Bowen. When they met at figure skating camp 10 years ago, Chase Merritt was a scrappy hockey player from the wrong part of town, and Zoe Carson was the up-and-coming ice princess. They fell in love faster than you can say triple toe loop, until Zoe makes a fateful error that ends up costing Chase dearly. Almost a decade later, their fortunes are reversed. Chase is the MVP of the New York Legends hockey team, while Zoe, their new skating coach, has years worth of personal and professional bruises. It's hard to face him again, all 6 feet and 200 pounds of muscle and swagger. And anger. Chase is in hot water with management and refusing to work with Coach Zoe no matter how badly he needs to shore up his stride and his image, until a journalist digs up an old video of Zoe and Chase performing a skating program and the internet goes wild. Management seizes on the opportunity for a PR redemption, ordering Zoe and Chase to reprise their flashy routine. Skating with him again, to a love song of course, is pure agony, but it's also Zoe's only chance to unpack the truth of what really happened that night 10 years ago, and to at least find forgiveness if she can't win back his heart. Then we're going to be moving down to November 11th. There are 4 titles releasing on this date. The first is Brigands Breadknives by Travis Baldree. So this is going to be the sequel to Legends and Lattes, which had a prequel come out before this one, which was Bookshops and Bone Dust. And so I'm not really actually going to read the summary for this one because I don't know exactly how much is coming from those ones, but the main character in this one is going to be Fern, who was one of the characters in the prequel novel. And it looks like she's going to be moving to a new city and things are going to be happening from there. These are cozy fantasy. I absolutely love the first 2, so I can't wait for this one. Then we also have Rapunzel and the Sea Witch, or The Little Mermaid and the Tower by Kim Bussing. So this is the 3rd book in the Princess Swap series. They are all companion novels, so I will read this one. All 3 of the books actually came out this year, and I've read the first 2, really enjoyed them. I think I gave the first one 5 stars, but the second one 4 stars, so I'm very curious to see what I'm going to think about this one. What would happen if Rapunzel made a deal with a sea witch and the Little Mermaid wound up on the top of a very tall tower? So this is Fairy Tales meets Freaky Friday, and it says, all Rapunzel wants is to explore, but she can't set foot outside her tower without triggering her curse. At least that's what her mother tells her, and she has no reason not to listen to her mother, right? But when Rapunzel suddenly winds up in a sea witch's lair, she wonders if this could be her way not only to see the world, but also to break the curse that's always hung over her. Princess Hana, meanwhile, has her hands full with a mysterious storm wreaking havoc under the sea. As a mermaid, she's pretty sure humans are at fault, especially after her best friend is captured by sailors. But how is Hana supposed to save him when she suddenly finds herself stuck in a very tall tower with no door? Happily Ever After couldn't feel farther away. Can Rapunzel break her curse before it is triggered, and can Hana escape the tower in time to save her kingdom? Then we also have The Marriage Narrative by Claire Kahn. Zinnia is an ambitious, successful businesswoman who is not about to wait around for her one true love. She turns her dating profile into a marriage merger, a few strategic meetings, move in together, get married, all within 30 days. Her friends think it will never work until she meets Jordan, a near-perfect applicant with a big secret. Jordan's family has spent the last decade starring in a massively popular reality show about their lives. He has finally agreed to join the cast, but production wants him to marry an actress, his ex, in a romantic storyline to boost viewership. Convinced Zinnia is perfect for the role instead, Jordan proposes a mutually beneficial marriage. She gets her business partner husband, and he gets to help his family on his terms. Together they face strict schedules, wild plot twists, and behind-the-scenes hostilities, all while acting like besotted newlyweds. An intense performance that evolves into a relationship they never expected. As the line between reality and show blurs, Zinnia and Jordan must choose between a clean contract or a beautifully messy love story. This has things that I absolutely love. I love the sort of fake dating fake marriage type of thing, but I've also really been liking romances that are set in a more like reality show sort of thing, so I definitely want this one. And then we also have The Seventh Champion by Sylvia Mercedes. Swept from her quiet life as an apothecary's apprentice to the treacherous court of the High King, Rosie Harpwood is shocked to discover she is the long-lost daughter of the demonic Dragon Queen. Reawakening her dormant magic is the kingdom's only hope for salvation, but the journey is perilous and she'll need a champion to guide her. So the High King hosts a series of trials to determine which prince is worthy of the honor, as well as claiming Rosie's hand in marriage. Rosie, however, has other ideas. A talented healer and lover of small, fluffy creatures, Rosie wants nothing to do with demon queens or saving the world. Determined to escape this fate, she joins forces with one of the champions to plot her getaway. Prince Valtar might be enigmatic and a little bit terrifying, but something about him makes her blood burn in ways that have nothing to do with her dragon heritage. Trained from youth to serve the Dragon Queen, Valtar has proven himself a ruthless assassin. Posing as a suitor to get close enough to his target shouldn't be a problem, but Valtar wasn't planning on his target being Rosie, the girl he failed to assassinate years ago, and who has haunted his dreams ever since. Then we're moving down to November 18th, and there are 4 books releasing on this date as well. The first is You Watched in Silence by H. Lee Justine. Having been cut off by her best friend, Caitlin is devastated until a miracle occurs. Family vlogger Bella Green, the celebrity influencer with whom her ex-best friend was obsessed, offers Caitlin a job as nanny to her twins. Like millions of others, Caitlin knows that Bella's life is in pieces too. Cancelled, unfairly in Caitlin's opinion, over perceived indifference to a tragic suicide by one of her fans, Bella fled with her family to a remote island. For Caitlin, the opportunity to help Bella Green will also help her to heal, a way to honor the past while creating a new future. At first, Caitlin can't believe how easily she bonds with the twins. She also feels an instant connection with the family's flirtatious chef, Hannah Jo, who soon stirs romantic impulses that Caitlin never imagined having again. It feels like magic, until she catches a glimpse of a mysterious girl that nobody else can see. Before she knows it, Caitlin is in constant terror, unable to tell if she's losing her mind or being haunted by a past she'd rather forget. Worse, there is magic here, a dark force that manifests in mysterious pentagrams, animal sacrifices, and scrawled threats. But who is behind it? Is it a disgruntled employee, a scorned lover, or someone out for unjust revenge? Because Bella didn't do anything wrong, right? Then we also have a rather vengeful accord by Danielle Knight. This is going to be a rivals to lovers dark academia fantasy. St. Pendergast is an elite college of necromancers and gladiators, promising glory to those who can perfect the arcane arts of graving or spiring. Graving is the notorious act of raising the dead and shaping their decaying flesh into eldritch abominations. Spiring is divine-fueled combat against undead horrors in grand arenas, thrilling crowds of thousands. Halen Kilchor would kill and resurrect anything to study graving at St. Pendergast under the guidance of her hero, Master Necromancer Mortris. But Hal cannot enlist. The only way she can secure admission is to enter a dangerous accord with her mortal rival, Alistair Fulton, accomplished spirer and the infuriating, formidable, exiled scion of the great Fulton dynasty. If they team up as spire gladiators, fighting gruesome creatures in a cutthroat competition, they could both earn their prestigious places at the college. As Hal and Alistair fight grisly monsters and ghastly peers side by side, mending their years-long feud in the resplendent halls of the college, Hal faces the horrors of graving, spiring, and the revolting prospect of a romance with her own nemesis. Then we also have Violet Thistlewaite is Not a Villain Anymore by Emily Krempholtz. Guy Shadowfade is dead, and after a lifetime as the Dark Sorcerer's right hand, Violet Thistlewaite is determined to start over. Not as the fearsome Thorn Witch, but as someone kind, someone better, someone good. The quaint town of Dragon's Rest, Violet decides will be her second chance. She'll set down roots, open a flower shop, keep her sentient, mildly homicidal houseplant in check, and prune dark magic from the twisted boughs of her life. Violet's vibrant bouquets and cheerful enchantments soon charm the welcoming townsfolk, though nothing seemed to impress the prickly yet dashing handsome Nathaniel March, an alchemist sharing her greenhouse. With a struggling business and his own second chance seemingly out of reach, Nathaniel has no time for flowers or frippery, and certainly none for the intriguing witch next door. When a mysterious blight threatens every living plant in Dragon's Rest, Violet and Nathaniel must work together through their fears, pasts, and growing feelings for one another to save their community. But with a figure from her past knocking at her door, and her secrets threatening to uproot everything she's worked so hard to grow, Violet can't help but wonder, does a former villain truly deserve a happily ever after? So this one should be a cozy cozy fantasy, but obviously with some romance. I love this cover. And then the last one for this date is the Bookshop Below by Georgia Summers. If you want a story that will change your life, Chiron's Bookshop is where you go. For those lucky enough to grace its doors, it's a glimpse into a world of deadly bargains and powerful magical books. For Cassandra Fairfax, it's a reminder of all she lost when Chiron kicked her out and all but shuttered the shop. Since then, she's used her skills in less ethical ways, trading stolen books and magical readings to wealthy playboys looking for power money can't buy. Then Chiron dies, and if Cassandra knows anything, it's the bookshop must always have an owner. To restore the shop, she'll need the help of Lowell Sharp, a rival bookseller who is everything Cassandra is not, and knows it too. But as she is plunged into a world of unscrupulous collectors, deadly ink magic, and shady societies, a dark force threatens to unravel the bookshops entirely. And then finally, we have one book releasing on December 4th for me. I have nothing else in December right now, and it's going to be Better in Black by Cassandra Clare. Now, obviously, I have a copy of Better in Black, but I did want to just remind you that if you were not able to fund the Kickstarter for the Seasons of Shadowhunters, this book from that Kickstarter is now going to be traditionally published on December 4th, and this is going to be a collection of 10 short stories of 10 different couples from the Shadowhunter world. It does specify that Jace and Clary are seeking out an exiled Shadowhunter and learning that love can save the world or destroy it. Will and Tessa are honeymooning in Paris when a seance sends them down an unexpected path, and Simon and Izzy are observing increased demonic activity around New York on a hilarious urban romp. And then there are other couples in other stories that doesn't specify what the stories are about, but we are also going to have Anna and Ariadne, Emma and Julian, Kieran, Mark and Christina, James and Cordelia, Thomas and Alistair, Sebastian and the Seelie Queen, as well as Jocelyn and Luke. I obviously love the Shadowhunters world. I did the Kickstarter, but I also love this cover. I might have to get another one, but in case you were sad that you missed out on the Kickstarter, this one is coming as well. And that is actually going to be it for me today. Like I said, I had 24 books coming for the end of the year. That's still a ton of books still waiting to come out. They have not released yet. I am very, very excited for them. Obviously, I'm excited for way too many books to actually have time to read them all, but let me know if you're waiting for any more releases for the end of this year, and that's going to be it. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more videos. I do have videos coming out Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so I will see you then. Bye!